Do you have any other, just thinking of like, okay, what if you are no longer scrolling as much
Yes.
on your phone now?
Yeah.
What has that left you more time to do?
Oh, ponder.
Great.
I don't know if it's a great thing actually. Um, probably, I probably just being. Hopefully, what it's doing is I'm a bit more present for the kids.
Mm,
And my wife. I'm probably, um, yeah, I'm probably just a bit more in the room
yeah.
because I'm not like, hold on, let me just watch this guy add this sauce to this barbecue and see the effect of it. I'm just that's really made me miss Instagram just thinking about that sort of content.
There is some good stuff on
There's
there.
some great
There
stuff.
is some
That's
good
the
stuff
thing.
on
There's
there.
some great stuff,
Yeah.
and also it's really interesting then seeing like news. News feels really different now when you're not seeing the stuff on Instagram because you're seeing stuff on Instagram that the news outlets just wouldn't share.
Mm,
I don't want to get super political here, but often about whatever madness is happening in the world, and you're like, whoa, they're not showing this on the 10 o'clock news.
yes.
So I feel less informed in a way without
Mm,
Instagram because there is a for more informative, serious side to Instagram. It's not all
totally.
puppies and stuff. So but so I feel like I miss out a bit on that. But I do think overall it's a better thing, and I am more present.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find a lot of what I am trying to spend more time doing, and a lot of it is on my phone, I have to say, but
Yeah.
is like instead of scrolling, similarly to what your wife has done,
Yeah.
like how can I just replace it with something that feels a little bit more productive?
Sure.
So I have my, Duolingo going.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to learn Mandarin and Japanese.
Fair play. Wow. At the same time, cheapers.
Well, I have a trip to Japan book, so it's very
Okay.
functional.
Okay.
But is there
But
anything?
Mandarin as well as Japanese?
Yeah, so I'm half Chinese,
Yeah.
so I have this. I'm like trying to connect to my roots.
Okay. And you don't know any?
No, none.
Would you not just like try to tackle that first and
One
then
at a
get the
time?
Japanese? Yeah, I just they must be so contrasting. Is that not really hard?
I'm finding Japanese to be a lot easier than
Really?
Mandarin.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
but I've also just
Fair play to you.
downloaded like brain training, brain
okay, yeah,
game
sure.
apps, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
But my question for you is there anything else that you're doing where you're, I don't know, like learning something or I don't know, any other kind of like hobbies or anything like that you feel are like fulfilling of your time?
Probably not.
Fair enough.
I'm
You're a busy guy.
Sorry to say. I'm starting a big long job soon, and so I have a thing also. I get a real like guilt thing if I'm reading like a book or I'm like learning a language. I'm never learning a language, but like when I'm reading a book and it's not for work, but I know the next job I'm doing, I it doesn't sit right. I'm like, oh, this is bad. I should be just like doing character research and
Yeah.
like my job, even though I don't start filming for a couple of months, whatever it is. So I'm a couple of months off starting to film something now, and I'm a bit like I keep getting revisions of the scripts, and I'm a producer on it, so I sort of have to respond and give notes and stuff, and I'm a bit like, oh, I can't be just doing brain games on my
Yeah,
phone,
yeah, fair enough.
or reading a book that isn't related to
Related.
the job.
Yeah.
So I sort of beat myself up about that. I do a weird thing. I at least every 2 years, certainly every year, I do an IQ test.
Really?
I don't know why. My dad was really into like IQ. It's such a strange way of measuring. I mean, people, it feels like it's a dying thing where people talk about like your
Yeah,
IQ
I
anymore.
haven't
It's
heard
like,
of that in ages.
yeah, it's not really a thing. But like my dad was really into it, I guess. And dad had an extremely high IQ. And professor of medicine, was a very impressive person. And yeah, I don't know. For some reason, like he had sort of implanted it in my head, like when we were kids, maybe my sisters and I, about like the importance of like a good IQ.
Do you study for it or?
No, because it's all sequence stuff.
Okay.
And we did a thing. They have it here and they had it in Northern Ireland. Like at the 11 plus, we have to pass this exam to get into secondary school. And in my day, it was you got a 1, 2, 3, or 4, 1 being the best. And thank God, somehow I got a 1. But it was essentially an IQ test.
Okay.
The 11 plus that's kind of what it was. sequences and looking at charts and diagrams sometimes and trying to connect things and what's missing, and it's kind of and also a lot of people's brains don't work in that way or don't work
Right.
well in that way.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a bit of a slightly redundant test, maybe, because people are like, well, there's probably way better ways of judging intelligence. And saying that,
And there's so many different types of intelligence
totally,
as well.
totally. I mean, I think a lot of the way that exams are in school is a terrible way to judge intelligence. It's memory test stuff.
Yeah.
Who just wanted to remember all that stuff they were taught or the stuff they read in the book. I mean, some of the stupidest people I've ever met did very well in their A levels and went to like great unis and they're genuinely like not bright. And then some of the most interesting, impressive, and intelligent people I've met did really badly at school. So I don't. There's no perfect way, I don't think, to measure intelligence. But I guess an IQ test is just one of those ways, and for whatever reason, it's been a part of my life. So sometimes, just often when I'm away, if I'm away filming and I'm away from the family, and I try to get back every weekend, or if I'm away somewhere far, they come with me. Like in Vancouver for a long time, Australia, they come with me, LA, but yeah, I'll do an IQ test probably every 18 months, every 2 years.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else who does that.
I always get the same score too. It's really mad.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so I'm not. It's a good way of going. Like, I'm not losing it.
Yeah.
I'm not getting stupider.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I'm just probably doing the same test over and over again. I'm like, this looks familiar.
Yeah, you've just memorized
yeah,
it
exactly,
now.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's all good.
No.
What else do you do, like, in preparation? So in this period, kind of before you go into a new project,
Yeah.
what else is involved with that?
Oh God, just lots of fear and trying to convince yourself that you're the right guy. I guess there's a lot of self-convincing and
What does that look like for you?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's something you battle all the time. I think actors are way more self-conscious than I believe people believe them to be. I think. You meet some very confident actors, of course, but and we all have ways of portraying confidence. But I think we're all fearful that the rug's gonna be pulled from under us at any point. You hear a lot of actors say that sort of thing, imposter syndrome and everything. But yeah, no, I mean the work. It's a lot of work. Yeah, I can just find myself. I don't get stressed that easily. But I can start to feel the sensation of being a bit overwhelmed before I start a job, and then once I start it, I'm like, oh, this is what you do, and it's fine.
Okay.
But particularly, I will have had 8 months off when I start this next job, and that's the longest I've ever had off in my career. And part of it because I wanted time off after the second series of The Tourist. I was a bit tired, and I just wanted time off. And then there's a strike, a writer's strike and an actor's strike, so I wasn't able to work. So that sort of enforced my decision to take this time off. So as a result of that, I feel like a bit like, whoa, rusty, like I haven't acted for a while or something. So there'll be a bit of that, just trying to convince myself. And a lot of it's really practical stuff of, just character stuff and trying to get your head around. It's a tricky project to talk about when it hasn't been announced. Anyway, and there's a physicality thing going on with a character that I need to work quite a specific thing because of a sort of activity they do or sport they do, I guess. So it's quite particular, the sort of fitness I need to be doing, that I've started doing recently. And then it's learning lines. It's like that sort of slog of line learning, which I sort of changed my method for line learning almost job to job.
Really?
Yeah, I find certain times things seem to work for me better, and then next time I try that, it doesn't work so well.
Does it depend on like the role and the character and
Maybe.
like who the character is?
Sometimes it depends. I think if I'm like doing an accent and stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
It sort of manages to creep its way into how I learn my lines. It's strange. It's a strange thing. So I never have one set way. I probably have. It's either one of 2 or 3 ways, and it's also often dependent on like how much dialogue I have. Sometimes I'm talking a lot, you know. And look, I'm again very lucky, but like I'm often the lead in these things, or the co-lead, so I've just a lot of work to do, you know, a lot of big stuff, you know. So yeah, get my head around that, I guess.
Do you have any? This is a random one. Do you have any like memory tips?
No.
Cool.
Sorry, I don't. No. What, like eating spinach or something? It's like
No.
this?
Is it just like, are you literally just like going through it like over and over and over again?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Okay.
that seems to work.
That
for
does
me.
the trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's if you often what I find I go, you know, you get some actors who won't look until they're in the makeup trailer that morning. They literally
Really?
yeah, like very big actors who like won't learn their lines until the day of, and because
See,
they
that
want
sounds
they want it to
stressful
be
to me.
fresh, you know, because you want to
Okay.
have. The whole
It's like
idea is
top
we're
of
trying to sell
mind.
this idea that we are these people and we've never said these words before.
Right.
So you are trying to keep a freshness, and I get that to a point. I am quite an instinctual actor, and I don't like to go in with a great deal of a plan. Often, slightly again, depending on what I'm dealing with. I want it to feel like something drops down in the moment that I can use. And so yeah, but actually often when I go to find myself like. Again, also if you're busy and you're the lead or whatever, you're pretty much in every day, or often you are in every day, and often all day, every day. And it's just a timing thing sometimes. And like, if you say you've got a massive week of dialogue, you just haven't had the time to know it all really well often. So often the night before I'll go to look at something and then I'll go, oh, actually I do know this. I've obviously been looking at it in some sort of panicky way on and off for weeks,
Right.
and you go, oh God, I've got the big scene tomorrow, let me look at it, and you go, oh no, I know it, I know this. So it's often by you've done more work than you think you have if you've prepared. You know, I guess not getting hammered every night and stuff would probably be a good idea.
That does usually
probably
help.
help your memory a bit, you know, but I don't get again, probably something to annoy people listening, but I don't get hangovers. Again, I think it's a slightly down to my metabolism or whatever.
Yeah.
I really, my dad never got them.
Good genes.
And I don't get them. Yeah, I'm lucky. My sisters get them. So
Oh.
I don't know. I got really lucky there.
That is quite lucky.
Yeah.
It sounds like when you were talking about, you know, the actors who just, you know, can take it on in the moment, we've been doing a lot of research recently into like being in a flow state
Yeah, sure.
of just kind of, you know, being kind of unhindered by, I don't know, any unhelpful conditioning or just like really being your like highest, most like true, authentic self.
Yes.
And when you can connect with that, you do just show up, you know, better and like as you need to, and you perform at the levels that you need to because you're in your flow. That kind of sounds like what you're describing.
Yeah, and we've all experienced that, haven't we, at some level? And I have days like that where I'll just like have like a coffee meeting, and I'll be in that state, and I'll just be like, bah, 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 and I feel like so, and I'm really like, and I always like go like write down what you had, like what you've eaten already today, like how many coffees you had, whatever it is. And it seems that when I've done that, there's no pattern whatsoever. I'm like trying to put it like, how much sleep did I have? What did I have for dinner last night? You know, what time did I get up? What did I eat this morning? Did I have a coffee? Did I not? And it's felt quite random to me when I've tried to kind of log that. I don't know. I'd love, because it's an amazing feeling, and I've been writing more and more recently in the last few years, writing scripts and stuff. And when I'm in that flow state when you're writing, it's you feel like Superman, like it's incredible.
Yes.
It's, you know, it suddenly just feels really easy. It is just coming at you. And it's like, and you do find that acting sometimes you have these moments where it's just like, maybe it's for one take, you just feel like really invincible.
Yeah.
But it's harnessing that and being able to be like,
and
what,
like make
what
it
gets me
like
there?
repeatable.
Yeah.
Like what's the formula for it? Yeah, we've been thinking about it a lot recently. We've just developed like a mushroom capsule.
Yeah, great.
And the like formula of it, the purpose of it is to help you get into your flow state and like how to connect with it. So it can be something that yeah, feels a little bit more reliable rather than just crossing your fingers and hoping
Sure,
you'll
sure.
find your flow that
But also,
day.
I feel like it'll be, there's a chance it's a bit different for everyone.
Definitely.
And even something like that, like like a capsule, like two might work for someone and one might work, and body size comes into it and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Like, my wife said that to me the other day. Like, she said, like, do you ever think about like just sort of recommended sort of intake of like tablets and stuff? They should really vary more,
Yeah.
You got like some 6'6" man taking the same dosage as like a 5'1" woman.
Their bodies are very different.
Yeah, chances are they're gonna behave differently in their systems, you know.
Totally.
But here we are going. What does it say? Oh, it says take two. Okay, I'll take two.
Yeah.
Two might be like
There was
crazy for you.
there was a really great book that was talking about this. I think it's called Invisible Woman.
Right.
And it's basically how our world is built for like the average man,
Yeah,
and how
Jesus, yeah.
like medications, different types of like medical treatments,
Yeah.
even like the design of seatbelts is all based on like an average man. And so that's why women get
Oh my God,
like
yeah.
hurt
Oh
and
my
like don't
God,
get
that's
proper
awful
treatment
to
more
hear that,
often.
yeah.
Yeah.
And crash test dummies and stuff are probably just like men weight.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really dark.
Yeah.
Jesus
So
Christ.
anyways, that's a whole other issue.
God, yeah, that's a big one to solve. But
Yeah, for sure.
should give it a go.
Yeah.